and welcome to another week. It's time for Week in Review on Trust Television, where we look at some of the biggest events that occurred in the past 1 week. We'll start with this one. It started in the beginning of the week, where 3 hostages of the Kaduna train attack on Monday afternoon, so to speak, regained freedom from captivity. And among them is a barrister. His name is Hassan Lawal, who was seen in the recent video in circulation begging government to come to their aid. Barrister Hassan was kidnapped along his wife when terrorists attacked the Kaduna-Abuja train, but his wife was among the first 11 persons freed by the terrorists. Hassan, who said that the Nigerian government has failed to effect their release, added that it is a bitter experience being in captivity and called on the international community to intervene.
Actually, I am so excited in the midst of to gain my freedom, and as you can see, in the midst of my friends and relatives, I'm highly excited and overwhelmed by the reception I received from my family.
Any special message?
Yes, actually, I'm calling on as I said, the government has failed woefully in terms of security and in terms of rescuing our brothers that are still in captivity. So I am calling on the international communities and also other foreign agencies to come to their aid to see that they are rescued on time, because the situation they are in now is actually terrible.
Was there any kind of attempt by the security agencies to rescue you guys while in the forest?
Actually, there is none. I have never heard of that. Thank you.
Talking about torture, talking about the torturing.
No, that is obvious, as a video was released yesterday, and you see the kind of torture we experienced during that period, and it's like the thing is getting worse and worse. So therefore, the international community needs to come in and see how they can rescue those in captivity. And those in captivity, including small children, on their age, they are there really suffering for over 4 months, sleeping on bare floor in spite of the harsh weather, harsh condition we are in.
And moving on, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has described the latest release of a video pertaining the Abuja-Kaduna train passengers as a panic action. And the Army Chief stated this during the commissioning of the project and inspection of artilleries at the Malari cantonment in Maiduguri. He said that the military will come back ready to fulfill its mandate of eliminating bandits, kidnappers and terrorists in the country.
In the northeast here, things are moving, and even in other theaters, despite the fact that we have some few challenges here and there. The recent happening by these criminals, I consider it to be panic action. When they see the news getting closer to them, and just a matter of time will get them. And anybody who take up arms against the state, in whatever form it is, will get to him. This is a message to all the criminals, whether they are making videos or whatever they are making. The time is up.
Still talking about the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, families of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack are calling on the government to negotiate with the terrorists, keeping their relatives in captivity. They made the call during a protest during the week at the entrance of the Federal Ministry of Transportation in Abuja. The renewed agitation of the families followed a video clip released by terrorists brutalizing their families. Nana Muhammad was there, and she filed in this report.
This is an emotional and traumatic scene. The air is tense, and these people are angered, frustrated, and pained. Families of victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack have taken their agitations a step further, blocking the entrance of the Ministry of Transportation. The protest was triggered by a new video released by the abductors showing their relatives being subjected to dehumanizing treatment. Fatima Aminu is a sister to one of the victims still in captivity.
My sister's name is Hafsat Abdullahi. The daughter is Baby Islam, and she's 41-year-old.
What happened when she left home?
She came for our younger sister's wedding here in Abuja because she's married and stays in Kaduna with her husband and 6 kids, plus this one 7. So she came for the wedding and she was going back on 28th, and me, I was in the hospital cell because I was pregnant. How did I feel? I've been down since that yesterday morning. I've been lying down because just shooting in the car. Fever thing.
After hours of waiting outside, the Minister for Transportation, Maazu Sambo, addressed the family members.
This Monday would have been the first time that I was going to be receiving briefings about activities of the ministry and its agencies. Before I resumed, I had spoken to the permanent secretary to try and get in touch with the victims, with the families of the victims of the unfortunate train incident. The intention was, my first port of call will be to hold a dialogue with you guys. My own, without receiving any briefing from anybody, without studying the report, without knowing even what government has done so far. I think it will be very, very wrong of me to tell you, give me so time frame.
But some of the families were reluctant to agree with the minister, as according to them, time is of the essence, and their loved ones still in captive and being treated like animals have no time. The victims were kidnapped on March 28, 2022, after an attack on the Kaduna-Abuja bound train.
In his words, I am satisfied with those promises, but I am not satisfied with the time frame, because he said he is committed to doing something to release our loved ones. But the only thing I'm not happy about is giving us the time in which our loved ones should be released. We've been patient enough.
So far, about 21 of the victims were released after 4 months, and 40 of them, including children, are still fighting for their freedom, just as their families are desperate and relentless to rescue their freedom.
Governor, help us, please. Please. Governor, please.
Nan Muhammad, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Following the federal government's shutdown order, schools within the FCT halted academic activities despite the ongoing National Examination cancel NECO exams for senior secondary school as well as terminal examination by other students. Musa Luka tells us more.
Insecurity in Nigeria has been the major challenge for almost all sectors in the country, with education not spared. With the order affecting both public and private secondary schools, education in FCT will be brought to total halt as Academic Staff Union of Universities (ASU) has been on strike for over 5 months. This follows intelligent report of threat to some schools within FCT and the attack in Buhari area of the Federal Capital Territory. A visit to some schools within FCT reveals that students who ought to be writing NECO were in school but not participating in the exams, while principal officers declined comment. At the junior secondary school Wuses on 3, the principal, Olukemi Adebimpe, agreed that the safety of lives comes before education, hence the need to hold academic activities.
The security of the children is more important than what we are, is more important, and that is why the federal government said that all schools should close latest Wednesday, 27th July. By next week, Wednesday, we are supposed to close for the session. So these few days, about let me say about 5 days, it's only 5 days now that we are missing. If we close tomorrow, Wednesday, we are having Thursday, Friday, then Wednesday next week we are supposed to close for the session. So that 5 days cannot affect the school calendar. So everything will be okay, whatever and I don't think anything there's not going to be any adverse effect on the learners, because already we have finished our syllabus, we have finished, it's just for them to write exam, and which the only thing is the stress on the students, because we have to increase the number of subjects they write daily.
While these schools take a break over insecurity, one question that Nigeria are asking is, what will government do differently to change the security situation before the students resume to school? Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And Justice for Hanifa, you call the next one, as the Kano State High Court, presided over by Justice Usman Naabba, has sentenced proprietor of Noble Kids College, Abdul Malik Muhammad Tanko, who is 38 years old, and two other Hashim Isyaku, 38, and another person, an accomplice, so to speak, to death by hanging for kidnapping and killing Hanifa Abubakar, a 5-year-old school pupil. The convicts were convicted to 5 years each for conspiracy, and that's for other people who conspired in that very it's illicit event. Take a look.
Abdul Malik Tanku, the principal suspect, is now sentenced to death by hanging and 5 years imprisonment. Hashim Isyaku, death by hanging and 5 years imprisonment, while Fatima Jibrin is to serve 2 years imprisonment for conspiracy and attempt to kidnap.
With regards to the kidnapping, the concealment, the punishment for that is death, and the first and second defendant were sentenced to death on those two offenses, and then on the offense of conspiracy, the first defendant was given 5 years, while the second defendant was given, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years. And then the third defendant was given 2 years also for the two offenses he was convicted on.
Nearly 5 months since Abdul Malik Tanko and two others were first brought before a Kano State High Court on the allegation of kidnapping and killing of 5-year-old Hanifa Abubakar. Presiding Judge Justice Usman Naabba ruled that the prosecution has proved beyond reasonable doubt that Abdul Malik and his co-accused had indeed committed a crime punishable under sections 97, 274, 277 and 221 laws of Kano State.
There are about 5 head count of charges. We succeeded in 4. Of course, we succeeded in proving to the court that there was kidnapping. Hanifa was kidnapped by the first accused person, and which kidnapped was known by the second defendant, but he concealed it and did not disclose it to the security agencies. And again, thirdly, we also charged them with conspiracy, which also the court agreed with us that the 3 of them conspired to kidnap Hanifa.
Alhamdulillah. For Hanifa's parent, justice may have been served, but the circumstances leading to the death of their daughter will forever be remembered.
From day one, I have never thought that justice will be denied. I'm therefore grateful to Almighty Allah and to everyone who has been praying for us. Thank you very much. We thank you so much for coming.
Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
And the Senate has received a formal request from President Muhammadu Buhari to confirm the nomination of Justice Olukayode Ariwola as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The request was contained in a letter and read by President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, at the start of Tuesday's plenary. The report.
President Buhari requested the upper chamber to confirm 19 nominees as resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The confirmation request to the upper chamber was contained in a letter read on the floor by Senate President Ahmed Lawan during Tuesday's plenary.
Dear distinguished Senate President, confirmation of appointment of 19 resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), in accordance with the provisions of Section 154, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the underlisted names of 19 nominees as resident electoral commissioners appointed for the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC).
And you're watching Trust TV Week in Review, and we'll go on a short break, but we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Week in Review on Trust Television. And to other updates, in the Northwest, the peaceful rallies in solidarity with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, witnessed massive turnout as the Nigerian Labour Congress in the zone also joined their counterparts across the nation to draw government's attention to the plight of ASU. The report.
In Kaduna State, the chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Ayuba Suleiman, led the street protest from the Secretariat of the Union to the State Assembly to deliver a letter to the Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly.
We Africa, we Africa, the struggle continues.
From Katsina State, the peaceful protest led by the state NLC chairman Hussaini Hamisu Yanduna was also supported by the Nigeria Union of Teachers, Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, and the National Union of Road Transport Workers. Students' unions were not left behind, with most of the members seen carrying various placards with different inscriptions and chanting solidarity songs such as "No lectures, no election." On arrival at the Katsina State House of Assembly complex, the state NLC chairman was received by the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Taisu Megerizango, and some selected members of the Assembly. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly appreciated the peaceful conduct of the protests, giving assurances that the Assembly was strongly behind them.
The strike, as you already know, is over the non-observance by the government. The agreement is voluntarily entered into with the unions. I appeal to you to use your good office and good conscience to get the federal government to bring us to an end to this strike action.
In Kano, the state NLC chairman Kabiru Ado Minjibir, who led affiliate unions on the Solidarity rally, said they were delivering the message of resolution of the NLC national body to Governor Abdullahi Ganduje to intimate him on the need to intervene to resolve the lingering strike in universities.
Meanwhile, the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, led hundreds of protesters in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, against the continued shutdown of public universities. Joining him at the head of the procession were former senator and activist Shehu Sani and the country director of Action Aid Nigeria, NOB. The protesters, who had converged at the Unity Fountain, marched to the National Assembly chanting solidarity songs and carrying banners and placards bearing various inscriptions stating their demands. Nana Muhammad was there, and she filed in this report.
The Unity Fountain, a popular protest spot in the capital city, is playing host to a huge crowd. It is the second day of the two-day nationwide protest declared by the NLC, the umbrella body of workers in Nigeria. Speech followed speech as leaders and Nigerians expressed deep concern with the prolonged ASU strike, the economic situation, and prevailing security challenges in the country.
Are you going to be tired? No! Because already our children have been alienated. If you are investing in education, you are not doing anybody a favor. You are investing in the human capital for your economy. Universities must take a universal look. We must have the best of our brains.
The message has been passed, and without missing words, the students, the union leaders, the parents, and activists say their hopes and expectations are high. After the long walk to the National Assembly, the chairman House Committee on Labour, Mohammed Widil, came out to address the protesters, a situation that did not go well with the workers. Widil, who represented the speaker, Femi Bajabemela, promised to ensure all relevant stakeholders will be brought together as soon as possible to address the problem.
The leadership of House of Representatives said, we are partners. We are partners. You are representing the downtrodden masses. You are representing the Nigerian workers. We are also representing the people by election.
NLC President Ayuba Waba handed the lawmaker a long letter from the union leaders. Nana Muhammad, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the 27th of July each year is set aside by International Federation of Head and Neck Cancer Oncology to create awareness about the disease in Nigeria. The disease, which is considered to have high morbidity and mortality rate, experts said excessive smoking and alcoholism are some of the factors contributing to the prevalence of the disease. Take a look.
As the world celebrates the day, statistics available show that 500,000 cases of head and neck cancer are recorded annually. The disease also constitutes about 1 to 4% of cancer in the human body. Dr. Mustafa Abubakar is the medical director of the National Air Care Center, Kaduna. He highlighted some of the symptoms, adding that early diagnosis of the disease gives patients high chances of survival.
You can see patients presenting with nose bleeding. They can present with difficulty in breathing. They can have change in voice. You see that their voice is hoarse. They can also present with swelling in the neck. They can also present with other symptoms like inability to swallow, inability to feed. They can have wasting. They can have cough and other, so it depends on which side, but generally these are some of the symptoms. Those that present early, there are high chances that the patient can be cured. But for those that present late, there are other palliative measures that can be taken.
World Head and Neck Cancer Day is also an opportunity to acknowledge the impact it has on people affected by it. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And now to the House. Opposition lawmakers in the Senate have given a 6-week ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to fix the security challenges in the country or face impeachment. Senate Minority Leader Senator Philip Aduda, flanked by others at a press briefing after they walked out of the chambers in anger, revealed that they have given President Muhammadu Buhari 6 weeks to resolve terrorist attacks in the country or face impeachment.
Senator Aduda had attempted to move a motion to present an agreed ultimatum to President Buhari, but Senate President Ahmed Lawa ruled him out of order. The caucus said the impeachment issue was raised during a 2-hour closed-door meeting, but the Senate President was unwilling to allow the matter to be tabled at plenary despite their agreement.
We went into a closed session to discuss issues as they relate to security in this country, especially the happenings in Abuja and happenings all over the country. And we agreed that the primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and property of citizens. And for us, the minority caucus in the Senate, we also took into cognizance the fact that the Senate had at various levels, at various times, convenes various security meetings, various security issues were discussed, and we did recommend to government various steps and measures aimed at curbing these issues of insecurity.
Meanwhile, the lawmakers also chanted solidarity songs to buttress their stand. Lawmaker representing Sokoto East Senatorial District Ibrahim Gobi has been named as the new leader of the Senate and by extension chairman of the All Progressives Congress caucus. President of the Senate Ahmed Lao made this announcement on Wednesday at plenary. He said Senator Gobi's appointment followed receipt of a letter from the national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu. Gobi is to replace Senator Yahya Abdullahi, who defected to the People's Democratic Party, PDP.
With reference to your letter number NAS 9S/SP/D/12-12 dated 16 June 2022, in which you informed the party of the vacancy for the office of the Senate leader of our party. Except here with the party's nomination of Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Gobir, Sokoto East Senatorial District, as replacement for the Senate leader and chairman, APC Senate Caucus.
In the meantime, the federal government told the senators who threatened to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari within 6 weeks if the current security situation does not improve that the administration is on top of the matter. A Minister for Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said this while fielding questions after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House Abuja. He thanked the senators for their concern but said that government is on top of the security situation in the country as steps were being taken to address the anxiety over the current development.
As to those who have issued threats to Mr. President, I think it's more propaganda than anything. It's laughable. As to the resolution passed by Senate, as rightly said, it was passed when we were deliberating. But we thank them for their patriotism and their concern, but we have already, we are working around the clock, 24 hours, to ensure that Nigerians are, the situation is brought under control.
And that brings us to the end of Week in Review for this week. Remember to join us same time, same station. I am Martia Umar, but for more updates, you can follow us across all our social media platforms. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.